Northwestern has the kickoff team on the field as we're about ready to start. He'll take the return and try to improve the field position. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. So the Penn State Nittany Lions offense will have first crack at this one. And guys, we talk about how tight ends are a quarterback's best friend. Boy, this guy may take friendship to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's so nice to have a guy that the size, the athletic ability, and here's why it's always so good. Jesse, what do you want to do, man? Put a linebacker on him, put a safety on him. Nowadays, these guys can win, and it just really makes offense so much easier to run, and it goes pretty smooth.
Yeah, you're right. This guy is a matchup nightmare. It seems like
he's loose. And it looked as if he might take that one all the way to the house. Just ran out of a little steam. The defense finally got it.
Well, this offense watched their opponents struggle in their last game. They knew that there were some places they could try to attack, especially running the football, and they wasted no time. Opening drive, and they generate an explosive play.
The Nittany Lions just got that huge run. They love another explosive play. Out of the gun, they give to the back. Able to scrounge 3 yards out of that one somehow. It's 2nd and 7. Kept it on the ground on first down. Now back to the line. From the gun, they'll try to impose their running game. Really good job by everybody there. Well blocked, good run, and a first down. To the ground with the back. What a job up front, and he'll lose a yard on that one. The lost yardage leaves him with 2nd and 11. Pulls it and fires to the left. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. Now facing a 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Quickly complete. He's not going to make it. What a job by this defense to stop him in his tracks. So now on comes the field goal unit. It's good. And the first points of the day come on that field goal.
And 3 more on the board, and this kicker is starting to get a reputation starting off the season. Hasn't missed yet. Nice to have a guy that you can really, really depend on.
So they were able to put up a 3 spot on that last drive, and now the kickoff team out there as they prepare to put boot to leather. Looking for an alley from inside his own 10. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. So Northwestern's offense will try to get something started with their first possession. Last time we saw these guys, it was a rather forgettable experience for this quarterback. He turned the football over, he got sacked. Just not a good day at all, Jesse.
Well, the defense was able to rattle him. They hit him often, they hit him early, they got sacks on him, and then he started feeling it. His eyes came down. He started floating the ball over the middle of the field and putting it into trouble and got picked off. So it's important in this one, David, up front, they do a better job of helping him stay on his feet to get into a rhythm.
The best quarterbacks in the history of the game, when you continue to hit them, they become very human, and they start to rush their thought process. So he got hit early, and he got hit often last week, and that's why they lost. Position 1, objective number 1 today, protecting.
There he goes. An explosive play in the running game as he's got the first down. Northwestern wants to go quickly.
The defense has got to be more physical up front. Don't let them have those running lanes, those holes to break off a nice run, get a first down. And here's the thing, you better reload quick because they're right back on the line to call another play.
Pass the sticks and still on his feet. Explosive run into the red zone. He's out of bounds at the 16.
This defense is going to have to do a better job slowing down the run. We've seen twice now on this opening drive. This guy break one. And so this defense has to do a better job at the point of attack, and their D coordinator probably is already thinking to himself, I have to get another guy in the box to slow this guy down.
This crowd knows they have to bring it in big moments, and one of those has arrived. Quick completion to the right. That one takes it down to the 13-yard line. 3rd down play in the red zone, and this crowd is at fever pitch. He's got it and still on his feet. He'll be stopped short of the line to gain. Needed about 3 more on that one. Trying to do it on the ground. He's not going to get there. Stopped short on 4th down. They'll come out on this drive and let it rip. Right on the money. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that 1st down marker. The Nittany Lions can really attack on this 2nd and short. He'll pull it on the read. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. You've got a 3rd and manageable, backed up in your own end, but convert here and you get some momentum. He is going nowhere as the defense is manhandling this running game. The Nittany Lions decide to punt it away. They'll boot it into the night sky for the 1st time. Fair catch is called for in the midst of all this rain. Concentrate on one thing. Make the catch. They'll start this drive going to the air. On target. And a good job of coverage by that defense. Just a short pickup. Offense gets set for 2nd down. Motion from the wideout. They'll try it over the left side. Gets away from one, finds room. The freshman brought down after a really nice run there. They'll snap it from the 39, 1st and 10. Looking downfield on 1st down. Strong pass rush, gets to the quarterback, and they get him at the 46.
What a nice answer by this defense. You give up the big play, you respond right back, you get the sack, create some momentum for your side. Nice job by this defense staying with it.
And the Wildcats have put themselves in dire straits after that last play at 2nd and a mile. Wants to go up top. Oh, they're after him! Swings it out to the flat. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground cover. Pick up the 1st. On 3rd down, he drops to throw. From the comfort of the pocket, he fires it to the right. They get him down, but this offense is set up 1st and goal from the 9.
And the defense has to be kicking themselves for allowing a 1st down there. You're just maybe going to give them a few yards and let them set up for a field goal. Instead, you let them move the chains, and now they're knocking on your door 1st and goal.
They finally get a hold of him, knocking him down behind the line of scrimmage. He had been running wild. The run up the middle, trying to find his way to the goal line. He's pulled down after a tough run, gets it to the 6. 3rd and goal, and let's see if they can even operate in this noise. From the gun, wants to pass. And the quarterback is knocked down back at the 13.
And that is how you get it done. 3rd down, it's the money down, right? We've got to be at our best. How about the monster sack on 3rd down?
They'll have to settle for a field goal attempt. This crowd trying to do its part to get inside the kicker's head. It's good. He could have hit a string right in the middle of the uprights there. And that field goal is going to tie us up here in the 1st quarter. And we're all square as he's set to kick it away. And he takes this from inside the 5. Nice job executing all of the assignments as they put a stop to that return at the 22. First play of the drive comes from the 22. Handoff from the shotgun. And this one will be stopped for no gain. They got nothing on the last play at 2nd and 10. Handoff from the gun. Into a mass of giant bodies. We'll call it a 1-yard gain to the 24. How about these two running games so far? Dominance on the ground as we look at the first quarter stats. They fought to a standstill in the first. Let's see who gets the edge early in the second. So they go back to work after the break, and it is third down. From the gun, wants to pass. Unloads to the right. And it just squirted through his hands. He wanted to take off and got too anxious. The Nittany Lions will bring the punt team onto the field. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. Makes the signal, secures the fair catch, and they'll put it in play at the 37. The Northwestern offense returns to the field. They had to settle for the chip shot field goal last time, Jesse. They'd love for this one to pay off bigger.
Yeah, it just comes down to execution, too. Did a nice job out in the field, stalled a little bit once they got down to the goal line, so they just need to be a little bit more crisp here, Dave.
Yeah, and listen, I think the first part was the most important part. You got to put the drive together first to get down there. Now, when we get down there, focus on execution and getting 6 points.
A 7-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 3. The Wildcats with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. They'll go to the ground. This time the defense was ready, and they stop him in his tracks. I thought white noise was supposed to be relaxing. This is deafening on third down. Finds his tight end. Now with a great opportunity as they pick up the first down. They've got it at the 40. Northwestern making quick work on this drive. Quarterback on the keeper. Breaks into the open. They've got it inside the 30. They'll mark it at the 28. It's first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Looking for a physical attack from the gun. Not much working there. It'll be 2nd and 9. Tried to pound it on first down. Now back to the line. 2nd down, he'll throw it. Finds the tight end. And he won't quite get there. But boy, after that pickup, just a few inches to go for the first. An array of possibilities here. They make the stop, and he'll have enough yardage for a first down. And the Wildcats pounded the rock to move the sticks, now back to work. This freshman makes the stop after a short gain. Try to make up for some of that lost ground on 2nd down. Handoff to the single running back. Pulled down at the 11-yard line as they inch closer and closer to pay dirt. They'd love to pick up this third down and get a fresh set with 1st and goal. Snap from the gun on 3rd down. He caught it, and he will score! Touchdown, Northwestern! Field shrinks, tight end grows. Big targets, big results.
I've never heard it put that way, but you're dang right. That guy is so big. A lot of times you get a DB matched up on him. He can just post him up. A linebacker, he can run by him. So that's why these tight ends are so dangerous down here in this red zone.
And they knock through the extra point for the 10-3 lead. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Hey, guys, just wanted to get you a quick update on a game happening in the Big Ten. Oregon is just getting tuned up today. This is like watching an MMA fight where you start to question your own morals. Who sanctioned this bout? They're trailing by 17 to Indiana. It's an outcome that, if it holds, will have Big Ten fans buzzing all week. Guys?
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. Plenty of work to do here on 2nd and long. On the ground with the counter. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. It'll take some work to get to the sticks. It's 3rd and long from the 30. From the gun, wants to pass. Gonna take a shot. Pulls it in down the middle. And he was on his way. Gets it all the way to the 38.
defense, I got to find a way to get some more pressure on the quarterback or disrupt their timing and their rhythm. I can't give them these big chunk plays through the air. I got to be maybe a little bit more aggressive or do something a little bit different.
They'll leave it with him. And the defense makes the stop after a minimal gain. Got 3 on first down at 2nd and 7. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. And they'll bring him to the ground after a short gain. We'll see if they go back to the run here on 3rd down. From the gun, wants to pass. Complete to the left. Just across the 20 with a first down at the 19. And the Nittany Lions come to the line with a new set of downs. Here comes the heat. Pocket breaking down. Hit hard as he released the ball on that first down pass, and it never had a chance. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. They're dealing with a 2nd and long. They'll try the run. Got some room, headed to the goal line. And he's loose, and he'll take it to the house. Touchdown, Penn State! Precision blocking up front. Created the open lane, and the running back followed it beautifully.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to follow an offensive line that makes those holes and just gives you a caravan all the way to the end zone. What an unbelievable job blocking up front.
Looking for the tie with the extra point. And he did get that extra point through the slippery surface, no problem. They're set to kick it off. You think this crowd's going to get loud when their defense comes on the field? Here he comes from inside his own 5. And the returner goes down. The Wildcats have it back. The Northwestern offense headed out. Back and forth we go on these last couple of drives, David. Everybody moving the ball.
Man, these offenses are in a rhythm. Everything they're doing right now is working. A lot of scoring. This puts a lot more pressure on your offense, Palmer, when you walk on the field.
And at this point, too, David, which defense can break serve, right? Who can get a stop? That's what it feels like is going to be the determining factor in this game.
The freshman brought down after a really nice run there. They've got it at the 36. It's a 1st and 10. From the gun, the running back has it. They pick up half of it. It'll be 2nd and 5. Went to the running game on first down. Now here they come again. They'll move the wide receiver. Leaves it with the running back. Once that ball was loose, offense didn't have a chance. Defenders everywhere. It's a turnover.
And when you're on defense and it's wet and it's rainy, you know exactly what time it is. That ball gets a little heavier. It gets a little slippery. You're trying to get to that thing. You know you get your hand on it. There's a good chance it's coming out. Nice job on the defense forcing it with the assist from the weather.
Penn State sends the offense back onto the field. They tied it with a touchdown the last time they had it and trying to complement the defense's good work by taking the lead here. He's going to lose a yard on that one. Didn't get much done on that first play of the drive. It's 2nd and 11. Tight end now in motion. To the air on 2nd down. The quick out. They make the stop, but there is a flag on the field. We'll see what that's all about.
Illegal touchdown. Offense.
The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. On 3rd down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. Makes the catch. And boy, is he close to that first down, maybe just a couple of inches short.
That wide receiver on the outside is dangerous. When you're playing zone coverage, it's really hard because you're not chasing him. You can't really get hands on him. You got to make sure you send more guys his direction. Maybe slide those linebackers toward that wide receiver so you got a little more help on the outside.
He just barely got enough of that one and just barely kept it straight enough, too. And they they go back on top.
And this guy has been a machine all season long. He is absolutely automatic. You know you're getting 3 points when this guy jogs on the field.
After putting 3 on the board, the kickoff unit ready to go. The returner will field it and try to get some field position. And they'll get him on the ground as the offense comes out to start the next drive. Rides the back and leaves it on the option. He gets it all the way out to the 19-yard line, a pickup of 6. The Wildcats with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. The run from the shotgun. Hauled down, but they'll move the sticks as he picks up the first down. Down to 2 minutes to play. We'll take the timeout. They'll talk it over, a chance to tie or even take the lead before the break. Leaves it with the back. Turning it on. He'll go out of bounds inside the 40. They'll mark it at the 39.
How nice is it in an offense when you can generate explosive plays by running the football? You got to force feed this guy, man. He is an absolute game changer.
And the Wildcats, after ripping off that huge run, let's see if they can do it again. Wants to throw on first down. And he just threw that one away. Safe move, didn't see anything, lived to play another play. Oh, they dial up on 2nd and a long way to go. Looking to fire. Quickly to the tight end. Brought down at the 25-yard line. Give him 15 yards on the pickup, and this offense is threatening. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Northwestern comes to the line with a fresh set of downs. Gives it to the back on the draw. And he didn't have a whole lot of operating room after the juke, and he stopped for a short gain. Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. Pulls and fires it complete to the right. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. The offense calls a timeout to stop the clock. Here comes the noise from this big crowd in Happy Valley on 3rd down. Pressure is on the way, and the pressure has arrived, and down he goes at the 30. Timeout is called, and it's the defense wanting to make sure that everyone's on the same page for this big down. He's got it, showing off that big leg from 47 yards out. All tied up and just about set to kick it away. From inside the 10-yard line, he'll bring it back. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. They take over late in the half, enough time to put together a drive. Got it in the middle, it's Conrad. Oh, he's got some space. And he's ridden to the ground, but there's also a flag down. Let's check the call. A solid gain on that one, and it goes for naught as the penalty will back them up. From the gun. Makes the grab. No chance to run, but they still move it forward. And now on 2nd down for this offense. Looking downfield, and time is running short. That one will be incomplete, and we are down to 10 seconds to go. Running out of time here in the first half. They're going to have to be efficient to put some points on the board before the break. Some early movement along the offensive line, and they'll walk it back. So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. Not exactly the ideal situation for this offense. 3rd and long, back up inside their 20. We've got a timeout in the waning seconds of the half. Maybe a chance to get off a couple more plays. The Nittany Lions line up to punt it away. Fair catch is called for. You want to make sure that you field it cleanly in rainy weather like this. We played 2 quarters here. Time to go to Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
Guys, after seeing that, sign me up for another 2 quarters there in Happy Valley. And a genuinely fun first half to break down, led by, I can't believe I'm saying this, that special teams unit. It's one of the most well-coached groups we've seen this season. They stay in their lanes, literally and figuratively, and right now they are complementing the offense and defense perfectly. And with that, let's send it back to the guys inside Beaver Stadium.
We've got a good one going here in the 3rd quarter, all tied up as he's set to kick it away. He'll start the return inside his 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. The Northwestern offense returns to the field. First drive of the second half, always fun to watch. You see what type of tweaks were made at the half, especially when you're locked up in a ball game like this one.
Yeah, and it's been a good game. I mean, it's been a little bit of back and forth and a feeling out process. And now once you get in the second half, who's going to get aggressive, Palmer? Who's going to take some shots, try to make some plays, and really go for it?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think as play callers right now, you learn a lot about these coaching staffs with respect to who does make the best adjustments. There's a lot of coaches that believe we're just going to be who we are. We're going to keep doing what we do.
And the quarterback goes down at the 11-yard line. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Northwestern will have to punt it away. Bring it out. They got stuck in reverse. They hope the punt can bail them out. He gets the first one off, and he was busier than he hoped in that loss last week, being called on 5 times. Here comes the offense onto the field again. The give to the back.
I know that wasn't a huge, sexy gain. I know not everybody's jumping up and down, but what it does do is put you in a great position to succeed on 2nd down. 2nd and 10, really hard. 3rd and 10, really hard. Now you're in a manageable situation. It really gives you the whole playbook.
This freshman makes the stop after a short gain. The Nittany Lions really need to keep this drive alive on 3rd down. They'll try to get the first through the air. Moves away as he feels pressure. He gets the job done, picking up the first down, then getting down. The Nittany Lions come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Looking to throw on 1st down. Got his man in the middle. Nice gain on that play, but leaves it a little short of the 1st down. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. The Nittany Lions in a good spot here with 2nd and short. It'll be a draw. Big pickup on the ground here to keep this drive moving and give them the 1st down. And the Nittany Lions are on the move. Running back searching for a hole.
Man, it's really hard to control the running game if you don't control the line of scrimmage. And how about the defensive line doing a great job attacking those guys up front, not open up lanes to run through. Nice job just nullifying that run altogether.
There's the pressure. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see which way that's going to go. A very productive play until it was wiped out by that penalty, and they'll go back to work. On the ground with the counter. Jukes his way for more. They make the stop, but not before he takes a chunk out of what they need to move the sticks. On 3rd and long, trying to have a big completion here. And the pass rush is effective, and they tackle him at the 19.
This quarterback has to know he's got to get rid of the football quickly. This defense has already shown on film that they'll rush this outside linebacker off the edge and make the count 5 on their pass rush, but with his speed and his flexibility, he's too much for a lot of these offensive linemen to handle.
And this field goal team has been busy. This kicker comes out for the third time tonight. Never a doubt. Right down the middle. And with that, they've taken the lead. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
Fellas, it's gone final in a huge top 25 showdown. Here's how it went down. USC went scorched earth in a double-digit win that might have been worse had they not sat the starters in that fourth quarter. Total destruction by the Trojans in a statement win if there ever was one. A top 25 clash and an impressive showing that could be a huge confidence builder for this program. Back to you.
Yeah, how about that? Sounds as if they had a good ball game there, Kevin. Thanks for the update. They stop him just short of the first down, but it will be 2nd and inches coming up. He'll do it himself. Stopped in the backfield. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play. The decibel meter's about to explode. One of the great environments, wide out level noise. And the incomplete pass on 3rd down, but there is a flag on the field. We'll see what that's about. This defense happy with how that last play turned out, so they'll decline the penalty. Northwestern will send out the punt team. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. Take the return out of the equation in this rainy weather. Fair catch is signaled for and made. Power football with the run.
And the defense doing a great job committing to the run. When you commit to the run like this, obviously you can give up some plays in the passing game, but you got to stop the run first.
Here's the handoff. This time stopped behind the line of scrimmage, and they're probably saying, finally, what a night he's had. Trying to move the sticks on 3rd down through the air. The Nittany Lions will call on their punt team. Doesn't say much for your drive when you're looking forward to the punt. He makes the fair catch, and they'll spot the ball at the 18. The Wildcats have it back. The Northwestern offense headed out. Another opportunity here. They had to punt it on their last possession, but this time tight game, hoping to get something on the board. Makes the grab. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there. Still a bit short of the first down. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. The Wildcats can play this 2nd down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. He'll ride his man on the option. He'll pitch it. And that one will go and reverse the defense all over that pitch on the option. On 3rd and long, he has to throw for it. The safe call on the wide receiver screen. He's going to come up a couple of yards short of the first down. Northwestern will have to punt it away. He'll try to really get into this one. Signals for the fair catch and hauls it in just shy of the 30. The Nittany Lions going back to work on offense now. The give to the back. Good job running tough and behind his pads as he gets up to the 38-yard line. The Nittany Lions can really attack on this 2nd and short. They go to the ground. He is going nowhere. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. And after that last run, we'll see if they keep it on the ground on 3rd. They'll try to power their way ahead. That just never had a chance as they controlled the middle of the field and stopped him in the backfield on 3rd down. He'll get away another punt. He's been really active today, and no doubt he's going to earn his varsity letter. Just a wall of defenders everywhere he looks, and he's guided out of bounds after a short return. And now the offense will come onto the field again. Wants to throw on 1st down off the play fake. Can't hang on, and he'll tell you he really should have made that catch, and second down. They'll throw again after the incompletion. This time on target. To the 43-yard line and a first down for this offense. From the gun, running back gets the give. This freshman makes the stop after a short gain. After the 3-yard pickup, they come to the line 2nd and 7. Here comes the option. He'll pitch it. There he goes. A tremendous run. He was full bore after taking that pitch. Just sweet execution.
And this defense has to be so disciplined. Like, you just got to understand, I can't all go for the quarterback. And too much attention on the quarterback. We didn't play the pitch really well. That's why this offense is really hard to stop.
Solid pickup of 4 on first down at 2nd and 6. The give to the tailback. Nice pickup on the ground there. They'll move the sticks with the first down. And the Wildcats come to the line with a new set of downs. They'll go to the counter. And at least they keep him out of the end zone. He's on the 3. Operating in the red zone here on 2nd down. They'll give it to the back. That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball. We've reached a break and Penn State is on top. Let's take a quick look at the national rankings to see how this playoff race is shaping up. One more period to go to see who can make the winning plays and come home with the victory. After swapping ends of the field, they gave them a little time to figure out how they'll open the final period here on 3rd down. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown, Northwestern. And they grab the advantage, taking the lead here in the 4th.
And some of these guys make it look so easy, but these are tight windows down here, man. There's not a lot of space in the field, and he drops back, knows exactly where he's going with the football, throws it in there, makes the play, and more importantly, now his team is in the lead in the 4th quarter.
And the extra point is good, and every point counts. It's now a 4-point lead in the 4th. Kickoff unit is out there, and boy, did that last drive quiet this crowd. On the run from inside his own 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. Looking to throw on first down. And the physical play there forces the incompletion on first down. So now it's 2nd and long. Back to pass. Bringing the heat. Trying to make magic with his feet. Makes the tackle at the 32, but they were backed up inside their 20, and they pick up 15. From the gun, running back on the move. Not much he could do there. Does pick up 2 to the 34. Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on 2nd down. He'll keep it himself. Breaks into the open. Smashes through the tackle. Offense on the move. A big play there. Gets it to the 30.
That's the danger as a defense when you're playing against this guy, because you know you're going to see the option. And if you don't have a player dedicated to pursuing and stopping him, he is going to burn you like he did right there. He has elite speed. You saw it on that option play.
The Nittany Lions are marching down the field. Give to the running back. Fighting off the defender. Knocked down in the backfield, and boy, this guy's had a good day, but they finally get to him on that run. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. They'll try to make up for that last one on 2nd and 15. Wants to go up top. Catch in the middle, it's Conrad. knocked down for the tackle. The Nittany Lions are at the line trying to move the sticks on 3rd and short. He'll go to the sneak.
Well, and he gets stuffed on that QB sneak. He's just not doing a really good job of reading the crease and finding a little space to kind of tuck into and drive his feet. He's just running himself into a wall there.
Well, and how about the big boys up front? Make a crease. Push somebody back. Create some space. There was nowhere to go.
And the Nittany Lions, once backed up in the shadow of their own goalpost, have put quite a drive together. Got some momentum at the goal line. Touchdown, Nittany Lions! They move on top here in the 4th.
Yeah, and a nice job in the 4th quarter making plays, and a nice job being on the same page. QB, receiver. You could tell he broke with the football. He caught it in stride, gets into the end zone. Nice pitch and catch right there. Nice chemistry by the QB and wide receiver.
Needs this one to push the lead to a field goal. And the extra point puts them up by a field goal. Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
Guys, your game is a big one, but so is this battle right now inside the Big Ten. Oregon is down right now, but you simply can't rule out a comeback. Justin Herbert had a hand in getting this kid to Eugene, so if he thinks the magic is there, who am I to disagree? It's a touchdown game. They're trailing by 7 to Indiana. Just another week in the Big Ten where the only constant is chaos, fellas.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. Backed up now, here's 2nd and long. Looking to fire. Gets it out quickly. They make the stop, but this passing game does some damage, and they move the sticks with the 1st down. To the air on 1st down. And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball. Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on 2nd down. Back to pass. They've got the screen set up. Not a whole lot of room there on that screen pass as it just never developed. Big 3rd down as the crowd gets behind this defense. They just keep firing. Got his man on the outside. And they'll stop him about 5 yards short of the 1st. Northwestern will send out the punt team. 4th time tonight we've seen this guy come on to punt. Here's the fair catch, and he'll make it close to the 20-yard line. Penn State sends the offense back onto the field. There wasn't much need to throw it around on that last drive for the touchdown, Jesse. They got it done running the ball.
And David, I don't think you have to overthink this thing. If they can't stop you running it, why would you stop handing it off? Just keep at it here on this drive.
Well, and if I'm the defense, I'm making some changes. I'm bringing in more big bodies. I'm playing more aggressive towards the line of scrimmage. I am not going to let them have that kind of drive again.
On 3rd and long, try to convert through the air. He's got the tight end. Just what they were looking for to get this drive rolling. They're out to the 35. They're going to run it. And I think they'll give him 2 on that one. 2nd and 8 coming up. Went with the running game on 1st down, now back at it. Wide receiver comes in motion. The throw to the outside is complete.
Yeah, when you get that man coverage, most people are taught to have inside leverage. So that out route's there if your QB can put some air on it and throw it outside of the guy. But tight coverage, but a really nice throw on that out route.
He'll grab the throw to the sideline and step out of bounds after picking up a few. The Nittany Lions will punt it away on 4th down. We've seen a lot of the punt team 6th time tonight. He'll field the punt. Couldn't get away from that cover team, and they've got him down at the 23. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. The Northwestern offense returns to the field. They just didn't quite find the rhythm on that last drive, Jesse. They had to punt it.
I think they got to be more physical, David.
Turning it on! They finally get to him. The what a play there to pick up the 1st down. The Wildcats come to the line in the hurry-up.
Man, what a throw. Under duress, getting hit as you throw. He's been sacked several times today. I love how he continues to hang in the pocket and make plays for this offense.
Lost one on that last one. It's 2nd and 11. Wants to go up top. Gets it out fast. And he was able to run through a tackle, and they finally get him, but not until he picks up the first down. Off play action on first down. Fires downfield. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces 2nd down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. Got his man quickly. They could have used a little bit more there. Pick up a 3. It's 3rd and 7. The decibel meter's about to explode. One of the great environments. Wide out level noise. And the defense picks up a sack, getting the quarterback down at the 44.
And this has been the story of the night. The offensive line getting beat up. And this is why this team is losing. You got to protect your quarterback. This defense has had a field day with their 5th sack of the game.
Northwestern will have to punt it away. That leg is staying loose. Already the 5th kick of the night. Yet another punt on the way. Got to make sure that hamstring stays loose. He's been busy. The Nittany Lions going back to work on offense now. Tight end in motion. See how the D reacts. Off the play fake on first down. Fires to the tight end. Knocked down immediately, but a nice pickup on that one. Defense uses a timeout quickly, trying to get that ball back and preserve time for their offense. The give as they work on that clock. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. The defense calls the timeout. They're 2nd of the day as they try to get their act together. Now the play fake. Got his man on the right. Coming through that 3rd down conversion, and they'll mark it at the 43. The defense calls a timeout, trying to get itself organized. They'll toss it to the left. Hard running there. They drag him down behind the line of scrimmage, and boy, that hasn't happened very often. He has had a tremendous night. To the ground with the back. And this one will be stopped for no gain. The clock winds down to the 2-minute timeout, and this offense will try to drain away the time and secure the victory. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to throw for it. Puts it out of the air. They stop him short of the sticks, and it'll be 4th down. The Nittany Lions will line up to punt it away. You'd think they would have had a good chance to down that one deep, but the bounce carries it into the end zone for the touchback. They'll start this drive going to the air. Pressure coming. And it's incomplete, but the penalty flag has fallen in the holding zone. Let's see what the call is. They'll back him up with a holding penalty this time. They've spent most of the day backing them up with sacks anyway. Here's the snap, looking to throw. Fires to the big fella. That's a really good tackle there, giving up some size and still making the play. Wants to pass, and he's got to make a play. He wants a big play here late. And that's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact on the play, but no flags. It'll be 3rd down. No time to waste here. They've got to get set and pick up chunk yardage. Fires to the wideout. A strike downfield. He'll get it up to about the 32-yard line before he's stopped, and it'll be 1st down. And they spike it to stop the clock. He's trying to get them set quickly. They have to get the ball into field goal range. back to throw, and he needs to make a play. Trying to set up the screen. He'll be knocked out of bounds right at the 40-yard line. Good pickup there. These fans stepping up to help this defense on third down. Looking to throw for it. Complete in the middle. They convert on third down as he gets it to the 46-yard line. Clock is still running, and they have to get everybody lined up. The offense going to try again on another play. They'll just spike it on this one. Working well behind the sticks on second down. Looking up top, and time is of the essence. He's going to take off. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. IndyCar tempo as they head to the line for this third down play. Clock running. Under fire. Oh, no, the ball popped out. This could change things. Oh, the fumble, and the defense got it. The defense making the play to drive in the dagger with that fumble recovery, and they should be able to run out the clock. Their work here is virtually done. No need to take any more chances. They'll line up in victory formation. Goes to the knee, and that will wrap it up, and their magical season continues. It came down to the final quarter. Clutch plays, guys delivered, and they get a close win.
Yeah, Reese, big-time players make big plays in big games, and that's what happened in this circumstance. As a coaching staff, David, you love this. You know that you have confidence in your guys to go out and be able to execute when it matters the most.
Correct, and you don't know until the games, right? You don't know when those moments present themselves. How are they going to handle it? Great job handling a close game, executing down the stretch like they needed to.
That's going to do it from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and you've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.